Well, you actually have to ask, and you have to say what you're going to do with the money and why the problem that you're solving is an important problem to solve. So particularly in the life sciences space, people love to dream up new ways to fight diseases, but they haven't figured out whether there's really a market for that disease and what the other solutions to that. And so they're solving a problem that unfortunately doesn't exist, and with a nifty science solution. And then they don't admit all the ways it can go bad. So what are all the risks? How can this not work out? And how can we reduce risk? So as a venture capitalist, your whole job is to find teams to invest in and then figure out how to reduce risk. So there's risk in a syndicate. So who do you invest with? How do they act? Do you know them? Or can you rely on them? I mean, you got to raise a lot of money, so you got to know that. So it's about not really understanding that and also not doing your market research to understand the group you're talking to and why they might like your entity and your investment. So that's the biggest kind of bad things that I see people, and not listening during the pitch, not listening to the questions. You need 3 or 4 different pitches within one pitch. And also, sometimes I watch, there was a time when we were in diligence with a big venture capital company in the UK, and we were at the very final stages of diligence, and the senior partner was asking these very poignant questions. He was in London, so we were not together, we were on a speakerphone. And there are 3 key management people at MSI around the table. And he asked a very detailed technical question. And our technical guy went to answer it, and myself and the CEO slammed the phone on mute because he had asked a question that was kind of a rhetorical question, and he was basically in the process of answering it himself. Mm-hmm. And if you let him answer it himself, that's the best way to go. So if we'd answered his question, we might have answered it wrong. So the other trick in raising money, having been on both sides of the table, is sometimes you can't answer the question that a VC is asking you. So one, you have to be kind of honest about it, but you also have to be in sales mode and answer the question that you can. So if they say, I want to know why you picked blue, and you're like, well, I kind of picked blue because blue was the color in the box, and that's why I ended up blue. But you're like, well, I can't really exactly articulate that, but here's why blah, 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 which is as close to explaining to them why the answer is blue as you can get without really knowing all that answer. So I think it's about that art of selling and art of understanding, and then also art of realizing that it's a bit of a numbers game, right? Do your research. You're going to ask a lot of people for a lot of money, and you just have to keep going. So in the case of MSI, in both rounds that we did, we went to over 50, 60 VCs, but you just need to find one.